Hi, I'm Craig. That's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. Weekdays, we're gonna make it today. Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Episode 105. Brad. Me. Did you hear the bubble in the back of my voice? I was drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. It was,
What if you're like, what if you're like, Brad, and I'm like,
we didn't make it.
No,
we didn't do it.
We guys
made it.
105, 105. That's great.
It's been very rewarding. Previously it would take us a week to do 5 episodes. Now it takes us a month and a week.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it was bang, 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 and now it's like boop.
Slow drip. That's right.
But it's fun because, like I was saying on the last episode, we get to this show, and I'm really excited because
Absolutely.
I've waited all week to do it. So thanks for joining us tonight.
That's right, and thank you to our Patreon producers down there at the bottom of the screen. We greatly appreciate you guys for your support and allowing us to do what we do on a week-to-week basis. And your support is obviously greatly appreciated. So thank you guys very much. So much to talk about this week. So much. We're so glad you guys have joined us. As we have, look, the title. Vacations is just such a tiny small part of what we're going to be talking about today. But it's important to gather around the campfire because we got a lot going on. We're getting ready to move into the summer. We got a lot going on. Brad, how have you been? First off,
I have been good. And let me just, before we move forward, I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show. Sometimes we get talking and stuff. But Craig, on this day, May 23rd, 1989. What was the number one movie in America?
1989?
Yeah.
Batman.
No.
Oh.
It didn't come out yet. That
No?
was a summer blockbuster.
I know. It's like leading into the summer.
No.
Oh.
But it's a good one.
What is it?
The number one movie on this date in America, 1989.
Man, that's
Indiana
awesome.
Jones and the Last Crusade.
The best one?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The best one. You know what I always remember about this movie is watching it. It I guess it was 1990 or something. It was on TV.
Right.
And it was a special feature, like NBC or ABC would have the family night movie and they'd be like, the special feature for tonight is Indiana Jones. We all watched it at home. And the movie ended. At the end of the night, we watched it and Dad said, hey, can you go rewind the tape for me? And I got up to go rewind the tape and he played a trick on me, a prank, because there was no tape in it. It was on TV.
Ooh.
How outdated is that prank nowadays? Hey, go rewind the tape for me, the VHS tape for me.
That's very outdated. Hey, would you like to hear something that's really kind of funny?
Yeah. Funnier than that prank Dad pulled on me in 1990?
Kind of crazy. Listen to this right here, okay? Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, released June 12th, 1981. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, released 3 years later, May 23rd, 1984. Okay? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, released 5 years later, May 24th, 1989. So we have an 8-year gap between 1 and 3. Okay? Then there's a 19-year gap between 1989 and 2008.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that 19? That is a 19-year gap. Yeah, 19-year gap between 1989 and 2008 between Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Okay.
Yeah.
And now think about the giant gap that was. How big of a gap that felt between Last Crusade and Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
And there's going to be an untitled 5th film scheduled for release in 2022, which will be a 14-year gap between Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and just put that in perspective. That's almost as long. That doesn't seem that it's almost as long as between Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and the Crystal Skull. That is crazy. Crazy.
You know why? Because you can only film as fast as Harrison Ford can move these days. They started filming this one 12 years ago. And he's like, "Look, I just can't do it anymore."
Man,
it is check.
Nuts. But yes, as Jake says, what they're going to do a fifth one? Yes, they are doing a fifth one. They're doing a fifth Indiana Jones movie, and it's going to happen. And Harrison Ford has said on record that there will not be an Indiana Jones once he dies. Like, he is Indiana Jones. Yeah. But it's not really his character to decide or not, but still.
Yeah. Wait till they start doing the deep fake movie actors, and then they do prequels with all the actors and using their voices and morphing their voices to read the lines. It's going to get crazy in the future. I have a feeling that the future of Hollywood is all of the classic actors in CGI doing prequels and all this stuff, because you see it already happening in the Mandalorian and the Star Wars movies and stuff. They're making people look younger, and I think that's what the future of movies is going to be. People are going to get this technology. They're going to really crank it out. We've had enough of like the big mega super big blockbuster action hero movies. It's just so much nowadays that what they're going to do is instead of make 15 films of new franchises, they're going to start going back into those older franchises, I think, and do that. So I don't know. We'll see.
For sure. They're going to take the licensing rights of John Wayne, and John Wayne's going to star in a film in 2025 or whatever. Right. It's going to be nuts. Can we just stop really quick? So Harrison Ford is 78 years old. Wow. 78. And he's going to be like, that's crazy.
He's older. He's got to be older than Sean Connery was playing his dad.
Yeah.
In the third one. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Sean Connery at the time, I think he was actually in his late 50s, early 60s.
Wow.
And you think about that. So he's like 20 years older than Sean Connery was, which is crazy to think about. But can we just stop down and look at him when he was young? My God. Yeah. What an attractive, man. Like,
good looking.
Holy cow.
It's a man. It's a man. You don't see those. Man. He's a man's man. You don't see men in movies these days.
This is the #1 star in the world. And he just has like a regular dude body, you know? Yeah. Like, he's not like super buff. And like, now you got The Rock, who's all roided up and all
everybody's like way over. It's kind of like women back in the day, in the glory days of Hollywood. Like, Marilyn Monroe wasn't like this thin. She was a curvy woman. You know what I mean? They didn't have like it became that over time. It became women got to be thin, and now we've kind of come out of that again. But men still have a lot of high expectations these days, way more than ever before. Right. You got to be all you're right, like roided up and stuff. But like Harrison Ford, that's the way to go.
There's nothing wrong with being a dude. Nothing wrong with being a dude. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't let anybody tell you there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, hey, big ups real quick to M. Fredder. M. Fredder came in with the super chat. Congratulations, passed the math quiz for the nursing school. This was high drama throughout the week. M. Fredder came in and got a 78, I believe, on it. I believe needed to get an 80. Maybe you needed to get I think you missed like one question. You're one question off. M. Fredder came in, passed it, got it, ready to go. Thank you so much, M. Fredder.
Awesome.
Outstanding stuff. Love that. But it's funny. Before we get too deep into everything we're going to talk about today, have you heard? Have you heard about all the? Does the name Kwame Brown mean anything to you?
It means nothing to me.
Okay, so Kwame Brown. Just a little backstory here. Kwame Brown was a former #1 overall pick in the NBA. Okay, prior to a couple years ago, he was thought of as like the biggest bust in NBA history. Okay, he was a guy who got drafted by Michael Jordan, #1 overall, to save a franchise. And he just kind of floated around the NBA for a couple years, and I think he played 5 years. So Kwame Brown came out, and some players were talking about him, and talking about what a big bust he is, and he embraces the fact that he was a bust, right? So some past players, they have a podcast, and they were talking about him, and out of nowhere, this is all I've been paying attention to this week. Kwame Brown comes out of hibernation after nobody thinking about this guy for 15 years and has become a YouTube sensation in the last like 5 days because the dude keeps it about as real as you can possibly get, right?
Yeah.
He is calling out people about their relationships. They're like everything that people wanted to say about people, he's just going scorched earth on all these dudes. And it's the most fascinating thing in sports right now is Kwame Brown, the number one overall pick from like 2000 in the year 2021, just talking about people getting cheated on in the NBA and stuff. And he's leaving no stone left unturned. Anyways.
So he's talking about the industry, basically the sports industry. Or just everybody.
He's primarily talking about two guys who were talking shit about him. And he came back and he's gone like scorched earth, talking about how this guy cheated on this guy with this, and on his girl with this girl, and this guy his wife got taken from him by this guy, and blah blah blah. And it is amazing. So if you have I know like sports don't really interest you, but the fact that this guy just doesn't care, and he's like articulate, and he holds he does a very good job of describing all these things that he's talking about. Anyways, it's love fascinating stuff.
No, I'm gonna have to look into that. I haven't heard anything about it, but it sounds great.
You should absolutely.
I love that's what I'm after right now. That's what entertains me right now is realness, the most real you can get. Truth, realness.
Hey, speaking of real. This episode is brought to you by the Absolute Realist website. If you are a content creator on YouTube or Twitch, I'm talking about collaborator.com. Head on over there, use my promo code Craig, and guess what? You're going to get hooked up with a nice percentage off. I believe it's like 50%. I believe it is right now. That's pretty good. But it is a free website to use, so make sure you guys head on over there and check it out. It's 50% on the annual pass, I believe. But definitely go check it out if you're a creator of any kind. It is a free website to use. It allows you to find, create, and grow with other creators. Thumbnails are important, yes. Titles are important, yes. But finding creators to work with and grow with is the most important way to grow on Twitch and on YouTube. So please find people, grow with them. I did a collaboration just this past week with a wonderful person on Collaborate, Cutie Pie.
You did,
and
cool.
It was great. So make sure you guys head on over there if you are new. We've had like I've called it a soft launch, but in June we're going hard, baby. I'm going hard. So we're going really hard. I got a great promo I'm going to be putting out on June 1st, and it's going to be great because the thing people don't realize is that the more people that go on the site, the more valuable it is for everybody. It exponentially gets better every new user we have on the site. So it's really great. So we passed 1,000 users and we're kicking ass. So
nice.
It's really
Way
good.
to go.
I'm excited. So make sure you guys head over there and check it out. Aiden came in with the $2 direct donation. Says, "Hey, Outlaws, yesterday I bought the new instrument from Guitar Center yesterday. It was my first didgeridoo, and it's fun to use."
You went to Guitar Center and got a didgeridoo. That's fantastic.
Got to watch videos on YouTube and how to learn to use it. Cable said, "Respect my authority." Hey,
that's fantastic. And walking into Guitar Center, I have a long history with Guitar Center, but I'll skip that for now. But like, I imagine walking around, you're just like, wow, look at all these guitars. And then the guy's like, could I help you? And you're like, yeah. And then you just see this thing in the back corner. You're like, what's that? And that's a didgeridoo.
Light shines on it.
It's like Wayne's World. It's like, it will be mine. And then he's like, check it out. And then you just go, everybody stops in the store and they're like, oh my gosh. Wow. There's got to be more didgeridoo music out there.
I'm sure there's a giant subculture of didgeridoo music.
Oh, absolutely.
Whipple Effect says, but Craig, can Collaborator Club help grow the audience for hobbyists and amateurs too? Absolutely. It can if you have a YouTube channel or Twitch channel, whether you're a professional or amateur, it's a great place for you to be. There you go. So yeah, head on over to collaboratorclub.com. Okay, we finished last week. We had a lot of great comments last week, but we finished last week talking about masks. And one of the questions we asked a lot of folks is, now that the mask, the CDC came down, little recap. when last week's show hit, it was a couple days after the CDC said, okay, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear masks. And the question we had to you guys was, why would you still wear masks? Or do you feel comfortable wearing masks? Or do you want to continue to wearing masks? If you do, please tell us about your experience. And I thought we would open up the conversation with actually a great response that I received. And I figured we'd talk about that. Do you want to do that first?
Yeah, let's do that. Is that the YouTube comment for the day? Because we have not touched on that yet. And we're 15 minutes into the show.
Do you want to do that first?
Yeah, that'll lead into everything else.
Okay, well, as it usually does. It's time for the YouTube comment of the day. Okay, before we get to masks. Last week, I also finished on a nice little rant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was fantastic.
I had a little rant at the end. There's a gentleman named Mark S. who came in, and he didn't hear the whole thing, and he came in assuming things. And anyways, after the show, nearly immediately after the show, Mark S. came in with our YouTube comment of the day, saying, "Wow, I feel bad. I pissed off one of my favorite YouTube personalities. I misunderstood the comment about your daughter. Critical thinking sounded like even a child could think for themselves, unlike the people getting vaccinated. Like I said, I should not have spoken when I did, just because of the emotions evolved. I have not been on the channel recently due to life being insane." So, Mark, you get the YouTube comment of the day, friend, for coming in and talking. And as I said, I hope this can only bring us closer. Now, the conversation actually continued here, because he was actually said, I guess my question is, why are these people that don't want to get it okay with others putting something that could be dangerous in their bodies? Free choice, blah, blah, blah. So, Mark actually continued the conversation, and Indy, one of the best mods in the entire world, came in and is actually having a good conversation. And I think that's really, really great. So
great.
So Mark, I appreciate you popping in, and I appreciate your input. Mark actually had a family member who actually died of COVID, which is why he probably came in so emotional, and didn't hear the whole conversation, which is why he came in so hot. So Mark, congratulations. You get 527 points for being the YouTube comment of the day. Okay. Aiden says, if I master the didgeridoo, I'll go to downtown Dallas to perform while people toss money in a jar. Love that. Love that. Look at you.
Open up that didgeridoo case.
What is open? Just like open it up and pulling out the long didgeridoo. Whatever. Okay. So as I was going before we got to the YouTube comment of the day, one of the things that we talked about last week was we wanted to know, why would you continue to wear masks in the situation? And I wanted to highlight Plymouth. Plymouth took the time to actually really think through this and talk about this. So you actually have not seen this yet, so I wanted to kind of go through this with you and kind of go from there. Hal saying, if you can master jazz didgeridoo, you'll get all the chicks. But I'm sorry, Aiden. I just want to let you know that in reality, nobody can master the didgeridoo. There is no mastering. One can only do on the didgeridoo. There is no mastering of the didgeridoo. Okay, so let's get to Plymouth's comment here. He says, I will continue to wear my mask in the near term for a couple of reasons. One, I want to see more vaccinations before I feel completely safe. I feel part of the reason the CDC made this decision is due to the pressure from businesses as they are losing money. That may not be entirely true, but that is just the feeling I get. Okay? Number two, over the past year of mask wearing, I've gotten sick a lot less. Number three, I've gotten used to wearing masks, and and it will take a while to get over the mental hurdle of trusting being around people without masks again. So Plymouth, I first off, I really appreciate you taking the time to really think through this and talk about those things. I think that's really, really great. And I figured we can kind of talk about these things as well.
We can go down that list. We can go down that list and talk about it. The last one is interesting. I haven't gotten used to wearing. What does it say? I have gotten used to wearing the mask, and it will take some time to get over the mental hurdle of trusting being around people without masks again. So that's an interesting thing, because I did have a video pulled up that I wanted to share. This is a perfect opportunity to talk about it. The mental hurdle, okay, is really eye-opening. We're going to really start seeing it now, because what has happened is people that have really devoted an entire year to religiously wearing something. And that's not a knock. That's just what it was, religiously wearing it. You get out of the car, you put it on, you get in your car, you got it on. You got it on everywhere you go. This lady here, this video I saw today, she is going into a Starbucks here. And it says, if you're fully vaccinated, facial coverings are optional. This is her first time. You don't have to hear the audio. She's like, okay, I'm going in. She's really nervous. She's like, I can't believe it. First time going in, she walks in. Nope. She says, no, I'm out of here. She can't do it. Now, if okay, we spent a year, a lot of people saying, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And now that they're coming off, we're going to see, Craig, you mentioned this many episodes back. You said, if you don't think that these are mentally affecting anybody, go into a store without one on. You said, take one off. Mm-hmm. Remember? Mm-hmm. Now that they have the ability to take one off, you're going to see this more and more. The idea of like, oh, it's like a wedding ring, right? Like if you're married and you take this thing off after however long you've been married, instantaneously you're like, oh, that's weird. Mm-hmm. But this is something that's been covering your face for an entire year. So it's kind of sad to see, and from my perspective, that she can't even just go in and get a cup of coffee.
Right.
She walked a few steps in, and that the anxiety welled up in her, that she was about to do something bad, or something was bad was about to get her, that she had to leave.
Like, I find it honestly both hilarious and incredibly sad that mm-hmm. she felt that by crossing over the threshold from mm-hmm. outside to inside, that all of a sudden just COVID would engulf her,
Right.
Like just because she crossed over the physically put threshold that some constructor, some guy put up there to separate the entrance to a Starbucks and the exit to the Starbucks. And all of a sudden, mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's honestly very sad. It's honestly
it kind of is. And if you've been waiting all year, I mean, the same people, if you've been adhering to the idea of the mask, then you've also been probably one of the people that's been like, look, we got to listen to the experts. We got to trust the science. We're going to go with the recommendations. Well, the recommendation now is that you don't have to wear one, but right. Now you're going, well, I know, but I can't. And right. It's awkward.
As the Tick Rules points out, he says there are videos of people saying they want to wear a mask because they think they aren't a good person, right? That's like the saddest thing in the world. Like if you don't wear a mask, you're not a good person, right? You can,
oh yeah, I've had a lot of conversations about that.
Apparently the entire southern United States are just horrible people, mm-hmm. So sorry. And apparently everybody in New York is a horrible person, which we'll get to that in just a little bit. I cannot wait to show you this, Brad. I cannot wait to show you this.
Ooh.
Fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the politicians not wearing them now. Well, they're,
Zach Jack came in with 100 bits, says, hey, Brad, what's up, Brad? What's up, Craig? Alphabetical order. Hey, Craig, how about them Hawks at MSG? We'll talk about that in just a second, Zach. Appreciate that. So I want to continue on with what Plymouth was saying. It's interesting to say, like, the mental hurdle, right, that people are seeing because of this. And this is going to go so much further than just the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This is going to be a long-term thing. There's legitimately what you're seeing, not on the level of people who have been in wars, but I'm saying there is definitely going to be some PTSD from mm-hmm. this, where people like, ooh, and there's going to, mm-hmm. the mental effects of this is just going to go on for an entire generation. It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I said, from a physical aspect of this, it's affected a percentage of the population. From a mental aspect of this, it's affected 100% of the population. Right. Let's continue on with what Plymouth was saying. Number two, he says, over the past year of mask wearing, I've gotten sick a lot less. I can't argue with that. I think that's a great thing. That's a great byproduct. You've seen a lot of people who said they've gotten sick a lot less because they've worn masks. Awesome.
Yeah. I feel like that's like everybody's different. You know, it's not really a scientific gauge because everybody's different. I didn't get sick this year. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, hold on. Okay, great, great. Man, Christopher Padilla is in the chat. Christopher, I am so glad you are here. Man, well, I want to continue our conversation. Christopher, you hang tight. We're going to get to you in just a little bit. Man, let's go with this. And number one, he said, I want to see more vaccinations before I can feel completely safe. I feel that part of the reason the CDC made this decision is due to the pressure from businesses as they are losing money. That may not be entirely true, but that's just the feeling I get. Plymouth, I think that's a really interesting take. Personally, I feel that if the CDC was making this decision based off of businesses losing money, they would have changed this a year ago because the economy was destroyed a year ago when this shut down. The amount of small businesses that were absolutely decimated from this, the amount that big business benefited from COVID is insane, whereas small business was just decimated in the United States. The amount of restaurants that were closed down, mom and pop shops that were closed down, that just couldn't make it through. And while there was, a payroll protection plan that was sent through, there wasn't enough there to support these companies, support these small businesses. And whereas big business has obviously flourished over the last year. So, I failed to see that, but that's just me.
No, I concur with that. Just because, like, we've seen all the big companies have been just raking in the dough over the last year, and the small businesses have had zero say. And whatever the problem was, half of them are gone now. You know, I mean, I don't know the actual percentage of small businesses, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are closed now. They don't have a voice to say. So.
Daddy Quack says, I went to 2 Walmarts recently. The first had a huge banner outside saying masks are still required. Daddy Quack, where are you located? First and foremost, I think that actually plays a big role in it. It says, so I called and they said they were still enforcing it until they get new signs, so I didn't go in. Another Walmart didn't have signs up, but the guy working at the door tapped his face at me. Like that, I guess. I ignored, then went to the electronic department, had a video on the other TV saying masks are required. It seemed like the people want to cling to it. Even in my state, and Walmart's lifted the restrictions, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, our local Walmart has the same stuff up, and I would say that more than half the people in the store now are not wearing them. Now, this is Texas, of course.
Texas,
so yeah. But it's been that way for a while. It's been creeping up more and more. People are kind of done with it. But the signs are still out there. The person at the door is not really paying attention anymore. You know, they're just there out of corporate necessity. Like, you know, they're just standing there. Right.
Bear Jew, good to see you. Welcome home, buddy. He says, I've been going out since I got my vaccine to kick in, and things are starting to open up. Getting a sizable chunk of people, the vaccine makes me more confident in going out. I think that's great. Like I said, I think ultimately for me, it's about you make your decisions. If it's, goes back to it's your body, make the decision. If you don't feel comfortable putting it in your body, don't. If you do it. I saw a video of Wendy Williams.
She was I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wendy Williams is daytime host. She was asked by Dr. Oz about getting the vaccine. She's like, nope, I'm not getting the vaccine. And he's like, yeah, but what about? And she's like, nope.
Yeah. He's straight up like, no, I don't trust it. I'm not getting it. And she's just flat out like, I don't have to explain myself. And honestly, that's the way it should be. It should be like if the situation was colonoscopies, would everybody be posting their colon tags, online or whatever? Like, no, we're not. It's just become a thing. I've kind of related it to it's a hysteria in a way. The posting of the pictures online, it's become like the Beatles in 1964. Everybody's like, I did it. It's an emotional thing, and it's like become a mania.
Mm-hmm. Right. I want to put the Whipple effect says, just tossing my 2 cents in, that's exactly what we have the show. I love it. Why I still wear a mask. People hear what they see. Perception is reality for a lot of people. If I can avoid someone militant about wearing masks, or if I can simply make someone else feel safer by wearing one, I'm glad to do it. That's interesting. If I can avoid someone militant about wearing masks, What I would love to hear more about that. Like, do you mean like people who like you would rather wear a mask
To avoid someone telling you to wear a mask?
or yeah,
Is
because
that what
if I can avoid someone militant about wearing masks, because I would think that if
militant
someone
mask enforcers?
oh yeah, you mean people who are like, why don't you wear a mask? You mean like you're being shamed for not wearing a mask? Is that what you mean? Because I would think that's what militant mask wear. That's where I would come from. Whipplefack, I would love to hear more about that. Please continue that really quick for sure. Yeah, I would love to continue more of that conversation right there for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of, that's another part of the psychology too, is like there's people that just don't want to deal with confrontation. They don't want to create a moment, but they really still don't want to. So Dragon Boat Nick says mask shaming. Yeah, I mean there's that out there, and people just don't want to deal with that. It's another part of it.
Yeah, it's honestly sad. And now they have, their Jesus is packed up shop and said you don't need to wear them anymore. So it's crazy.
Speaking of Jesus, you know that gigantic Jesus in Rio de Janeiro, the big one. They have projected vaccine save onto Jesus in the last week, and so I found that interesting.
Well, that's good. I mean, great. Aiden with the $1 direct donation says, "Hey Craig, remember I told you about Sabaton? They released a new music video called Defense of Moscow. They sang about the Battle of Moscow during World War II on October 2nd, 1941 to January 7th, 1942. Tell Brad to give it a listen. Hey Brad, give that a listen.
Okay,
Sabaton.
I will.
Sabaton,
Cool.
Defense of Moscow. There you go.
That's great.
Nice.
We should put, I was talking about that the other day. I was like, we should put more like history and facts and things into music and make it more educational these days, because we're at a point now where we've got Cardi B scissoring on national television with some other chick, and we might want to change the direction we're going just a little bit.
So, we were talking about, I talked about how everybody in the South is just be a horrible person now, right? Because, like 50% of you in Walmart right now is not wearing a mask, and that's only going to grow as people, as the cases continue to plummet, and as the deaths continue to plummet, and everything continues to plummet, more and more people will be removing their masks. And apparently that's, look, COVID is extremely important in New York, except for when it's time for the New York Knicks to play basketball, because today the Knicks had their first playoff game in a long time. And because of this, they have opened up their stadium to 15,000 people, the largest basketball stadium, let me get it to load real quick. The largest basketball crowd we have seen since COVID, right?
Wow.
And 15th,
they did this in New York.
This is in New York. This is in New
Wow.
York. I want. So let me show this to you real quick, because you tell me if this all looks extremely safe. This was just a mere hours ago, Brad. This is the amount of people that are there. There's 15,000 people in Madison Square Garden today, Brad.
Were there regulations? I would imagine.
You tell me, does it look like there are regulations here?
I mean, I see some masks on, some non-people masked, and it doesn't look like social distancing was in play there.
It was in less than effect. I think this, I don't know if there's a vaccinated section versus not vaccinated section. These may be the non-vaccinated people over here.
Yeah.
And this is the vaccinated section over here. But yeah, Daddy Quack says people having fun looks dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty fascinating. So this is their starting lineup, and they had people going crazy, and Spike Lee was on the sideline jumping up and down like he usually does, and it was quite the event. But you can see all the people that were surrounding the court today.
Yeah,
15,000 people here.
That's
which
so
is crazy.
2019.
It's crazy. Not to be outdone though, Brad. Not to be outdone though. Today, another huge sports story where Phil Mickelson. I'm trying to get to it. Where are you, Phil? Where are you, Phil Mickelson? Phil Mickelson came in and he won the PGA Championship today. It was insane. The PGA Championship. He was the oldest tournament champion ever. for a major championship. 50 years old, 2
Wow.
years older than anybody else. Isn't that a great story? It's
Yeah.
outstanding. What a great story.
Great.
The real story, though, is what happened as he approached the 18th hole. Look at this. As he approached the 18th hole, he is engulfed by fans outside. This is in South Carolina. Look at how cool this is. Look at how amazing this is. As he's walking along to the 18th hole, this is something straight out of a movie. People literally grabbing him and stuff. As he is trying to make his way through. Look at all the social distancing that's happening here.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you have it. Now, South Carolina.
The world's back.
Yeah. Have they has South Carolina had very much? Have they been a strict mandated place, or are they opening up now?
I guess it looks pretty open to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
See,
It looks pretty open to me.
This has been our whole point in this entire conversation that we've had is the entire insanity of across the board, especially the New York footage that you just showed me. Because New York, I've had people from New York write me, musician friends that live there, and they're like, they'll get upset about something I've tweeted or something that I've questioned or something that I've asked about, and they're like, you don't even know, we've had this and that happen and this and I'm like, okay, well, that's been your experience. I can't really compare. I live in Texas. Our experience is different. But the fact that like I could get dogpiled from New Yorkers about certain things,
Just please, for the love of God, just please send them this.
Yeah.
Just go. Okay. Just go. Hey, so about that.
Yeah. So there's just been no continuity with the entire thing, and I'm happy where Texas is at. It's been getting more and more, I don't know, pre-2020 vibes. We went to our kindergarten. Or not our kindergarten, our fun day school thing, a little program the other day for our youngest. And there was 2 parents there with a mask. I noticed everybody else was not. It just felt like, oh, this is just the way it's always been. Right. And then, so that's the way it was. And speaking of vacations, which is the topic of our show tonight,
we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, like, our vacation last week, as some of you noticed, I was in a cabin last week, in an undisclosed cabin in location in America. And I can tell you now I was in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And it was great. That town feels, and we've discussed this, Craig and I have been to Broken Bow together earlier this year. And it's just a great town that feels like you could have taken the same trip 30 years ago and the town would have been the same. But anyway, we'll talk about that more.
Continuing the conversation here, Whipple Effect follows up, says, following up, militant in both directions. Correct. When you hear stories about folks getting harassed for not wearing a mask or people shaming others for wearing masks, it's ridiculous. If it's about personal choice, that's mine. I'll wear it no matter how anyone else's feels about it. I think that's great. That's the idea. If you want to wear a mask for the rest of your life, wear a mask for the rest of your life. Do it. Go ahead. I just want, the question is for somebody who doesn't want to wear a mask the rest of their life, why? And if it's personal choice, cool. That's what I've been advocating forever. My biggest thing is, you want to do it. Go crazy. If you don't want to do it, go crazy. I'm not wanting to tell you how to live your life.
Go crazy not wearing a mask.
Go crazy wearing a mask. Go crazy not wearing a mask. However you want to go crazy, that's fine. It goes back to the idea of like, I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You don't tell me how to live mine. It's very simple idea. But apparently, by the way, if you say that, you are racist.
Oh yeah, yeah, we know that.
Yeah, it's good.
We know that.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff. We talked about this discussion about masks. Plymouth, thank you again. That you spurred that entire conversation, and I greatly appreciate that. And continue the conversation, which is what this show is all about. We talked about the New York Knicks crowd, the PGA crowds, and just how things are kind of returning back to normal. It's been. Oh, by the way, I would like to point this out really fast. The mask mandate ended from the CDC on the 10th. The 10th, and here's the date. Here's the stuff in Texas. The 7-day average was 2283 of cases in Texas since then. The 7-day average since then has gone down roughly 25%, 25% since then. So it'll continue to dwindle. And in the United States, the mask mandate on the 10th was averaging 39,000, currently averaging 25,000 cases. So it's gone down almost 33% since then. So,
All right.
So there you go. Just to
Trust the science.
Just put a little bow on it right there. Yeah. Mr. Awesome Sock says, I have to wear a mask because I believe I no longer have control over my facial expressions, and I work in retail.
Neither do I.
Awesome. Oh, good. Austin says, saw that preview track for the next jukebox song, Going on a Mask Hunt.
Oh yeah, I posted a video the other day. We were at a local school here for soccer practice, and me and Dylan do this thing during soccer practice now where we're up there quite a bit. We go on a mask hunt and we just walk around, and I filmed it, and the video ended at 15 masks. We counted 27 masks littered on the ground around this school, and I had this song. I was like, going on a mask hunt, how many masks can you find? Anyway, I don't think I'll actually be doing that for the Juice Box.
That's awesome. That's
good
great
PSA
stuff.
though.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Okay, let's actually get into vacations. There's so much more I can continue on, and you guys have some great comments here. Napa coming in and says, I find it dumb that the people that were telling people to wear masks are now the same people that are judging those that want to continue to wear masks.
Yeah. It's been an interesting thing. Yeah. It's now about choice. Yes. It wasn't about choice then. It is now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. As Nick follows up, finally says, California is lifting the mask mandate on June 15th, but no longer required as you are among other vaccinated people, which I find confusing because how will you know without asking somebody or being called some labels? Right. Exactly. So Christopher wants to know if you picked up the mask. Did you pick up the mask, Brad?
Why would I pick up the masks? I'm still looking for the government issued biohazard receptacles.
What do you mean, Brad?
I mean if the masks are, if we've got a disease, and we've talked about this, if we get the disease that's so dangerous that we got to shut down the entire world for it, and everybody needs to cover their mouth and breathe into these masks. If they're littered on the ground, why would I pick that up? Shouldn't the government have issued biohazard receptacles for most street corners by now?
I mean, now, it seems valid.
Yeah. Now, that said, I pick them up. I've picked up masks before. I'm still COVID-free. 27 of them I'm not going to pick up.
All right. Okay, real quick, since Christopher's here, I before we get into conversation, I know we wanted to get into vacations, but Christopher and I had a nice little. Well, Christopher had a conversation with me in the comments section this past week.
Right.
Because I posted that I posted on YouTube the community tab. I posted on it that I essentially went on Twitter for 10 minutes, and it like totally reaffirmed everything. It was like I just couldn't understand why people were still on Twitter after being on it for 10 more minutes. So Christopher responded to that, and I figured we could actually talk about it now because Christopher is in the chat. Which is great. So now we can have a real-time conversation about this. Okay. So Christopher feels like I'm an insane hypocrite for doing this. He says, "Why go to it in the first place, dude? Seriously, you talk about how you enjoy not having it, and then you decide to get on for 10 minutes. Why? Why the curiosity of something that you said numerous times was incredibly toxic? It's very confusing to me. You haven't told us anything that you've already said before it." Even so far as to roll your eyes when Brad brings up social media, and you say you don't care. So I guess you cared for 10 minutes. So he's essentially saying like, hey, dude, like why are you on it? And
I've had conversations with Chris on Twitter.
Oh, good.
I know Chris's tone. Yes.
Rope Snake says sometimes you just got to make sure it's still shit. And Christopher responded and said, or maybe, I don't know, stick to your conviction. A man who hates social media as much as he preaches 10 minutes on Twitter shouldn't even enter his mind frame. Which, by the way, Christopher, I appreciate you knowing how my mind works. Thank you for that, by the way. He's purposely going out of his way
to be curious. You are not allowed to.
He's purposely going out of his way to do something he claims is toxic and harmful. That's what's so baffling. And I said, it wasn't like, I wonder what's going on Twitter. Maybe I'll check. I was reading an article that had a Twitter link in it, and I saw I wanted to see what the replies were, so that I get sent down the rabbit hole for 10 minutes of just looking at the toxicity. So, anyways, Christopher continues, and I wanted to give Christopher the opportunity because Christopher obviously was incredibly hell-bent on telling me what a hypocrite I am for going on Twitter for 10 minutes in the last 5 months, which is amazing, by the way. It was fascinating.
What?
So listen, I know. So Christopher, if you want to continue the conversation, now is your opportunity. We can have this kind of conversation live. But I'd also like to point out that if anybody has ever been curious about anything in their entire life, go fuck yourself, okay? Because you're not allowed to do that anymore. So, and make sure you stick to your convictions as well.
Right. Yeah. No, it's like if let's say you've been vegetarian, like I've been vegetarian for almost 10 years now, but there are moments where I'm curious. Now I haven't eaten any meat, but I have found myself eating gummies, candies, which do have animal byproduct in them. So I can't really stick to my convictions in that department because I am guilty of having a cheat, right? So therefore, I am a terrible person for having eaten the gummies.
I think that'd be great. Jeff Raptor says, so what if you had a Twitter relapse? The thing is, I didn't. I didn't have a Twitter relapse. I just went on to it. As I said, it totally reaffirmed everything I thought about Twitter. That it's just a horrible hellhole of a platform with horrible people on it.
It's kind of like you're in out of all of the internet. If Twitter's just a room and you left there, and then you're walking down the hallway of the internet. And you're like, oh, there's the old Twitter room. What's going on in there? And you look through the window. And you're like, oh, yeah.
That does suck.
Yeah. And then you just sort of get caught in the train wreck that's in there for a minute. And you're like, all right.
There you go. Christopher says, well, why don't you read my response after you read your last comment? And then you skipped over what I said after. Okay, Christopher, let's read them just so we're all on the same page. Okay.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
He says, hold on. What? I wasn't like, I wonder what's going on Twitter. Maybe I'll check. That's literally what you did, lol. Clicking a link that takes you to Twitter to see the replies is quite literally wondering what's going on Twitter. Accidental Mattis, this guy's having a mini breakdown. I thumbs up that. He says, actually, I'm perfectly fine. Just pointing out the hypocrisy of a man who shuns something so much, tells everyone I'm never going back to Twitter, but somehow curiosity got the best of him and went back for 10 minutes for no reason at all.
All right. Now, listen, go ahead, finish it up.
I just said 10 minutes out of the last 5 months. Humans are naturally curious. I, as a human, was curious as to what people on Twitter were saying. It literally justified me making my decision. You need to relax, dude. Which I still stand by, Christopher Padilla. You need to chill the fuck out. All right, just relax, calm down. All right.
We had a conversation about the word woke on Twitter last week or so. I asked people. I made a tweet and I said, "Hey, who are the non-woke artists out there right now, like in the music and entertainment?" Chris wanted to let me know what the actual definition of woke was and how dumb I sounded for saying non-woke, because woke is actually a term that's used for people that are, I can't exactly remember it. I apologize, Chris, what the actual Webster's dictionary or whatever vocabulary definition you sent me was. But I wasn't using the word woke right. And Chris, look, I don't want to focus on you too much on the show already, but just take a few breaths, chill out. Things are happening on the internet. It's okay.
I'm just going to tell you this right now. This is for everybody. You're not always going to be right. You're not always going to be wrong. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to be a hypocrite, whether you like it or not, right? You're going to be curious, and that's fine. but we all can't be perfect like Chris Padilla. So Chris, go get it, buddy.
You get the gold star from
Hey.
Weekdays with Craig and Brad for perfection.
Here we go. Listen, I deleted it. Oh no, I was gonna give him a countdown to the big award for the day.
right.
10, 9. No. Oh man, there you go.
Accepting the award for Chris Padilla is Craig Skistimus.
It's the Bear Jew. Bear Jew is accepting
gold
the
star?
award because he wants a gold start too as well. So
Gold star. He
There you
corrected
go.
himself in the chat. Well, that's fantastic. Look,
okay.
We've gone on too many tangents already. We're 50
I know.
minutes into the show and we haven't even talked about the main thing. This is how
vacations.
absurd our shows are.
It's just a bunch of ranting and rambling and just going around in
This is
circles.
this is the most unorganized show I think we've done, where we've just sort of gone down different side lanes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Craziness. All right.
So
I was on a vacation last week, Craig.
it's vacation time.
I was on a vacation last week. I was in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. I wanted to share with you a few things I brought back with me, like a mini show and tell. Let's get into it. I've only got 2 things. Okay, I wanted to share this with you. Got a couple of these for my boys. You know what this is?
Ooh, yeah, I do.
Does it look like a knife to you?
Oh, that's absolutely a knife. Don't do the switchblade, Brad. What are you doing? Don't do it.
It's a switchblade.
No, it's no. Why would you get? Oh,
Nope, it's a comb for your hair.
Oh man, I was like,
Fantastic.
why would you get that for your sons? Why would you give them a knife, a switchblade like that? I don't understand.
No, we got this at Buc-ee's. And I had one when I was a kid, and boy, are these fun just to do that and then see the
Great.
comb. And then we spent a lot of time in nature last week, and I don't worry about getting myself gifts on trips anymore because it's more about just spending time with the kids and taking pictures and making memories. And Mom and Dad came with us this time, and we were skipping rocks down the river and stuff, and picking up unique rocks. And I found this rock, and this was my my little memento of the trip. Now I'm going to show you this rock one way. This is what I call the magic poop rock. Okay,
Mhm.
This is the rock that I got. Okay,
Oh wow, it's wonderful.
and I'm going to wet it a little bit and
wow.
share with you what happens when you wet it. Because I picked this up out of the river thinking, oh, geez, it looks like poop. Hold on, it's not all wet. This is how mature I am, by the way.
Way to go.
It looks like a turd.
It's good
Literally
stuff.
looks like a turd.
I like
So
that.
there it is.
I appreciate that you took that out of a river, and and you felt the need to take it home.
I took it all the way home with me because I've been walking around going, oh, gross. Who left this? It's as good of a prank as any. And that is the level of my maturity. So anytime anybody thinks I'm being too serious about life, I'm going to pull this out and say, look, I have a magic poop rock. Do you think I'm that serious about anything? No. So that was my memento. It cost me $0, and
Way to
it
go.
was a lot of fun. So
As James says, it does kind of look like fecal matter.
it does. Look, check this out. It's even got this
Look at that.
part on it, like it fell. What I did was I was with Dad, and we were on the river, and I pulled this out, and I walked up to Dad, and I was like, oh, and I reached out from the back, and I was like, oh, and I could tell for a split second,
He's like, wow, why did you poop in your hand?
Dad thought I pooped in my pants and then pulled it out with my hand.
I appreciate that you, a 37-year-old man, reached into your back pants and showed that to our 73-year-old father.
I'll be 38 this year.
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it
that's
was a
great.
good time. I've got a few pictures from the trip I thought I'd share with you.
Nice.
You can pull them up. We'll just breeze through them real quick.
Okay.
This was a little tree museum that we went to with a lot of great carvings in it. Now, this place, I can't remember the exact name of this museum, but it was fantastic because this place, you could have literally gone 40 years ago. It would have been the exact same experience. The building itself, it all is kind of trapped in time. We had a lot of fun. So we took this picture out there together. And some lady with her dog took this picture. There is
Did the
me
dog,
inside.
Did the dog take the picture, or did you?
The dog took the picture. That's what makes it so special. And then this is me inside of a hollowed out dead tree, taking a poop with my poop rock in it. These are the kind of pictures. Dad took this picture.
Okay.
This right here is nature, Craig. And this was what I was in touch with last week. Now, this picture here was on a trail that we went down. Beautiful. And this right here was, I shared this picture last week. This was on our horse trail ride. And the reason I want to share these pictures with you is because I wanted to remind you people that this is out there. This is the real world. Now, a lot of people go on vacation and they get in touch with nature wherever they go, and they go, well, I got to get back to the real world now. No. This is the real world. Out here in this beautiful landscape, there's no COVID. There's no Twitter. There's no drama. This is what's actually existing out there. And don't miss it, because these were beautiful experiences. And we were talking about the world getting back to normal and people being afraid to walk. Like think about that lady afraid to walk in the Starbucks, right? Like she couldn't even get a cup of coffee. I'm out here riding a horse, looking over the world, thinking about, wow, isn't God's creation great? This is wonderful, or whatever. You're getting in touch with the universe and you're seeing all this beautiful stuff. And I just want people to know that this is out there and it's a wonderful thing. And we talked a lot earlier this year about the great American road trip and getting back out there. And this is important stuff. Go make your memories. I'm encouraging it. That's the end of my rant. That's it. I just wanted to touch on it. I wanted to kind of
those
recap.
all the pictures?
I just got a couple of them because I didn't want to do one of those slideshows where like the ants come back from the trip and then they're showing you the slides and they're like, and this is the Great American Museum. Right. And then they go on to the next slide. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to touch on a few pictures and say, this is where I was. This is the kind of fun we're having. This is out there for you people. Don't forget it's out there, because we have been cooped up for over a year. And you got to start living, because you're going to regret not living.
That's great. I love it. I'm going on vacation this week, and I'm doing the exact same thing, going out to nature, which is
all right.
I'm going to a place where I've never been before, which is exciting. And there's not a big city. And by big, I'd say big city, a big city within, 3.5 hours of where we're staying. So we're going way out there. I think the closest spot on a map that has a town on it is a dot. That town, which is an hour away, has a population of 1,000. So we're going out there, which is very, very exciting. I'm excited to kind of separate and detox from everything, and we're going to be on a lake and going to do all that stuff, and kayaks and canoes and boats and horses and stuff, all that fun stuff. So I'm really, and part of that's going to be the road trip to get out there. We're going like 7, 8, 9 hours to get out there, which is going to be really, really exciting. So, but
here, I've got one more picture for you. I forgot to share this. To share this picture. This was us. We rented a boat and we got on the tube. Now, after this was me in Austin. After this, I got on the tube by myself while Dad drove the boat. And do you know how hilarious it looked like? Not just from my perspective, I look ahead, I see Dad is hilariously laughing. He looks back at me, I am hilariously laughing because he's got the boat at full speed. And I'm back there hanging on for dear life, laughing, going... And then he starts turning the boat and I start clipping the waves. And I held on for dear life. I was so sore the next day, but man, that was fantastic. So there's one more for you.
That's
all
great.
Right.
Love
so
it.
You're going to get to go out. You're going to be in nature.
I'm doing nature the whole thing, and so I'm spending a week away, and I'm not streaming, not doing anything. We will have videos up on the channel. I'm going to preload those, get those all ready to go, and start doing that after tonight's show. And it's going to be really exciting. So I'm going to do that, be gone till Saturday, and then I'll come back, do next week's episode 106 with you on Sunday, and we'll kind of go from there. But I thought that would be fun. You pulled up actually a video of us from 1988, because
Yeah.
the thing we were talking about was the road trips that we're going on, the vacations we're going on with our kids are the ones that they're going to be talking about when they're our age, right?
Right.
So I thought that it'd be fun to pull up some of these, pull up a, there we go. Dude, there we go.
Oh, that was
Sorry about that. So here we go. This is an old home video of us in 1988. This is
It's the Great American Road Trip heading to Grand Canyon.
Just 23 years ago. There's our brother. There's our dad. Look at Jim. Look at Dad.
There he
His
is.
mustache.
Total
My
80s dad. Mustache. What's he got? Aviator glasses on there.
Right. Oh, there's Brad.
There's little
Look at
Bradley. G.I. Joe shirt. Bowl
So
cut.
you were 5 here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, look. You know what I don't see here?
What's that? Cell phones?
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt? Yeah. Car seat for sure.
No seatbelt. No car seats.
I lived. We all lived. Well, Kenny's got a Walkman.
Awesome stuff.
You're back there in the back seat.
Hold on. Is this someone's head back here? Or is that
It could be. I don't know who. No, that's probably just a hat. But you're
Okay.
back there.
Nice.
But this is great. You know, when we were on our trip last week, Mom had mentioned how it reminded her of our Lake Havasu trip when we were out on the lake, and how we rented the houseboat. And we talked about this trip. Now look at that. Isn't that fun? Look at
Nice.
this is what you did. This is what you did in the 80s. This was
Give it
some
up for
crump.
Give it for him sleeping is great, but Roger Rabbit on the windshield is
Oh,
even better.
right. Yeah, that's fantastic. Sitting in the back. We stayed in a motel right there. Classic motel.
Mhm.
And then we got out there.
I remember this.
painted
This is a big crater, wasn't it? That we stopped at. Was that a big crater that we stopped at? I feel
We did stop at the crater. Yeah, you're right. That is in here. I don't know if that was it or not, but
There's the Grand Canyon in 1988. Everybody,
yeah,
check
big.
that out.
It probably looks the same now, still.
Right.
Maybe some of the trees are a little bigger.
So
Maybe.
I was in 1988. I was actually younger than Mackenzie, my daughter, is now. And there's one thing that I remember from that trip. I remember making our way to the Grand Canyon, and I remember asking Dad how far a mile is, and looking out the back of the car, and and asking him. He said, "Hey, how long's a mile?" And I didn't know he was using the odometer at the time, but I remember looking back and watching the road twist and turn and realizing how long a mile actually is. You know, from the time the odometer went a full mile, which was crazy. Look at this. This is the ledge here, like right on the edge of the Grand Canyon.
How much protection do you think is there now? I have been dying to go back to the Grand Canyon, but look, he could literally drop his video camera over there and never see. And you know, that was one of the big stories from that trip was Kenny had a yo-yo. Our oldest brother Kenny had a yo-yo, and he had dropped it down to another level of the tourist path, and the guy picked it up and threw it back up, and Kenny got it back.
How crazy! Let's continue on with the with the end.
So we took
skipping through.
We took our own personal airplane ride.
Oh yeah, how fun is that?
Yeah,
it was a tour. It was a tour over the Grand Canyon. That's right. I remember that.
Yep. We all crammed into this little tiny jet. I don't know if anybody got sick or not.
How crazy!
But look at that little jet. I have not been in a jet that size since then. I don't think.
Look at Mom.
There's Mom.
My God. I don't. Mom looked great.
Mom looked great.
That's crazy.
Mom was our age.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Isn't it crazy to think about. And so this trip, our dad had, or our mom had won. They had won this trip through the radio, and it was to get to Lake Havasu, and we rented a houseboat. And the story here was that we got to the houseboat and we had no blankets and no sheets, and the houseboat didn't either. We thought they were going to come furnished, so our nights were cold and our days were hot.
I
on
remember
these
that.
plastic things, and there's no way to dry our clothes. She had them sitting out on the deck there, so we were roughing it for sure. But that's what
Rough,
you did.
yeah. Rough, you
And,
know,
oh,
rough.
I caught a catfish.
Got
Then it
put
went
away
away.
there. but like I said, these are the things that you do as a kid, and you remember these things. You know, I remember these little things that this was a long time ago now, 1988. You know,
Yeah.
1988. How crazy is that? And here
Times
we are.
have changed. Nobody's walking around with a cell phone. Everything that you can do with the cell phone was compartmentalized in an item. If you wanted to take pictures, you had your camera. If you want to take video, you had your video camera. If you wanted to know what time it was, you looked at your watch. You
Right.
couldn't call anybody unless you got to a payphone. You couldn't look up directions on how to get from point A to point B, or local restaurants to check out on Yelp. And you just sort of did it. So this was the big crater.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
a big old crater from a meteor that hit a million years ago or whatever it was. So, man, that's crazy. That was a nostalgia rush for me right there. That was nice. That was fun to watch. And like I said, I'm gonna go on one of those tomorrow. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
You know? Life is
And
all
then-
about those experiences.
One day, Maddie and Mackenzie will have their own podcast, and they'll be pulling up your videos, and they'll be like, "Isn't it funny to think about Dad holding his iPhone, taking videos of us?" And now we just
Right.
click right here on our. And this is the
Right,
future right here. We push on, what is this? Your temple,
Yeah.
and then your eye videos it, and then you stick your finger into something, and it downloads it. That's our future.
Nice. Well, do me a favor. This is what we got. We're going to finish up here, but before we do, I need you guys to head down to the comment section. Head down to the comment section and tell me about your best vacation ever. Tell me about it in the comments. Do it
Yeah.
while we feed the algorithm.
I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Young people today, let me ask you this. How can we party? The earth is so big, can we party? I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Party.
Nick came in and says, I remember my trip in 1988 to Disney World. My dad won a trip through his work. Didn't appreciate Epcot back then as much as I do now, but appreciate my dad taking me there for my first Disney experience. Love that, Nick. Thank you so much for sharing. That is
fantastic.
outstanding.
1988 Epcot was the best Epcot.
The best Epcot. Well, we shall see, because we're getting a new Epcot here in the next year or so. So,
Yeah, we'll see. See what
Yeah.
happens.
okay.
Did you know Disney lost $600 million in revenue the last quarter?
Mm-hmm. I
That's
did.
crazy.
It's
It's crazy.
hilarious. Hilarious. Oh,
All right.
man. Hey, you know, I was gonna say get woke, go broke, right? But there is. I saw our boy Harold came in, and he said, "Oh, I want to make sure I point this out really fast." He said he was gonna back up. Where is it? He was talking about UFOs and stuff, and then he talked.
Oh, we got to
Apparently
do it. We got to do a UFO episode. There's a lot of talk about that right now.
They're coming, baby. They're coming. Hey,
Yeah, here he is. This is speaking of nature. When will the UFO and ET show happen? Big news on that front. Is that what you're talking about?
No, he said this. Got to sit down for my boy Chris here. I talked to him about the definition of woke and its origins in black culture. So let me know if I want to clarify. No, I don't, because it's used differently in pop culture. I don't really care about the origins of it because it's used differently in pop culture now. It's like, where did the hot dog come from? You know, do we?
These conversations don't need to happen. I got caught up in that conversation with Chris about woke, and and Chris, let me just say, I appreciate your effort there, but as you could tell by my responses, I just posted gifs of people saying woke from Saturday Night Live and stuff, and because they don't need to happen. If you're gonna talk to me about it, you gotta go to every single account on Twitter and talk to them about it too. You're not gonna save the world with definitions and stuff. It doesn't matter. It goes by like this. It's the internet. It's there and then it's gone. And that's what you got to do with life. You got to go, whoa, this is it. moving on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things. One other last little thing I want to hit on real fast. And by the way, I think that'd be really great to do some sort of ET UFO show because I'm a believer. It's happening, baby.
And I'm a former believer.
You don't believe in UFOs anymore?
No,
Wow.
I stopped.
Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to talking about that.
I think it would be a great show. Yeah.
Master Yoshi was talking about rad gravity. He mentioned this several times in the chat. I didn't get to it. He says, rad gravity is a pretty damn good when the more you experience it. So the score you gave it was a little unjustified. Master Yoshi, I got to be honest, I don't care. I play each game for 5 to 7 minutes, and I give it my score, and that's how I do my reviews. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry. That is what I gave it, and let me tell you exactly what I gave it. And I'll give you a re-review really quick as I look through my stuff. Adventures in Rad Gravity, I gave Rad Gravity a D+. Upon further review, a D+. So there you go. Congratulations, Adventures in Rad Gravity. And thank you for your input. So there you go. That's
great.
So it's my review. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Once again, 2 reviews going up all this week. Brad, you got anything else before we say goodbye?
No.
Okay.
It's good to be back. Look, I wasn't in my room tonight. We're doing a lot of cleaning around the house, so I'll get back to it. I did put up my record in the back for the one person that does watch for the record in the background. And yeah, we'll be back to normal next week on my side of the screen.
Looking forward to it. All right, sounds good, guys. Remember, people are going to try to bring you down. Don't let them. I'll see you guys next Sunday night. Remember, I'm off all week, but you will see me every day over on youtube.com/stutteringcraig. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you really want to support us, head over to patreon.com/CraigSkits. Support us there. And of course, this episode is brought to you by collaboratorclub.com. If you're a creator of any kind, whether it's a hobby, whether you want to make it your full-time job, head over to collaboratorclub.com, find other people to work with, and grow together. Work smarter, not harder. We'll see you guys later on. Have a great week, and bye-bye.